Bits and Pieces by Hilary Henley, Stroud, 2425. Narrated by Chloe Schwank. I love the early mornings on our farm, and today is no exception. I am climbing up the hill in front of our house in a zigzag fashion, allowing for the fact that I am not quite as fit as I used to be. The sun is appearing from behind the hill on the opposite side of the valley, chasing away the few remaining wisps of early morning mist. I reach the old wooden seat and lower myself gratefully onto its weathered slats. I take a few deep breaths. I have come to my favourite spot to mull over the theme for this year's Fellowship of Australian Writers senior story. The theme is, What Made Me? Now, 2 hours later, I am sitting at my laptop with a semblance of a plan on how to choose, from amongst a lifetime of events, those which have made me the person I am today. Firstly, I think about my parents, who bestowed upon me my heredity. This included a mixture of their genes and DNA, together with various characteristics and emotions. From my mother, I inherited her sense of humour and her love of crossword puzzles. From my father, his perseverance and practicality. From them both, their love of animals, which had brought them together and kept them together. But, of course, one's heredity comes down through the ages, which could explain why I have the dark hair of my French grandmother on my mother's side and the olive complexion of my Turkish grandfather on my father's side. One of my nephews, many years ago, appeared on the program Who Do You Think You Are? While researching his ancestry, he discovered that he was the 9 times grandson of King George II. This was due, apparently, to a dalliance in 1805 by Prince Paul von Württemberg with a flamboyant actress. If, indeed, that is true, then I must be the 8 times granddaughter of the same king. Is it possible, then, that I could have inherited the tiniest molecule of royal DNA thanks to that wayward prince? I was born in England on 15 January 1939. Last week, my husband Peter and I celebrated our 60th wedding anniversary, surrounded by our extended family. Looking back over my 85 years, I recall many events which have had an impact on my life. The first of these occurred when my parents took me, my 2 brothers, and my sister away from our comfortable home in suburban Surrey to a remote farm in the heart of Exmoor. I was 12 years old at that time. Our 600-year-old stone farmhouse, with its spiral staircases and low-beamed ceilings, had no electricity. We survived with Tilly lamps and oil heaters until the never-to-be-forgotten day when my father bought a generator. Our water came from a spring and was heated by the Rayburn cooker in the kitchen. In the 7 years I lived there, becoming my father's chief helper, I grew to love farming life, with all its ups and downs, from searching for lost lambs in the snow to haymaking on sunny days. I attended a boarding school, followed by agricultural college. I wanted to be a farmer. When I was 19, I managed to get a job on a sheep station in Hawke's Bay, New Zealand. I booked a passage on a cargo ship from Liverpool to Wellington. She was called Rippingham Grange. If I look to my left, I can see a picture of her hanging on the wall. I walked up her gangway on 15 November 1958, and, within 2 days of sailing, my farming plans took a nosedive. I absolutely had to go to sea. Leaving home and travelling to the other side of the world on my own gave me the confidence to face the unknown. It made me more independent. It made me feel I could do anything if I set my mind to it. After 18 months in New Zealand, I returned home, undertook a secretarial course, and fulfilled my dream to go to sea as an assistant purser. This led me to meeting Peter on the Orsova in 1962. We came ashore and married in 1964. In 1969, we took advantage of the assisted passage scheme and brought our 3 sons to Australia, where our 4th son was born in February 1970. Becoming a mother of 4 boys in 4.5 years and being on the other side of the world from my family with limited funds had its challenges. Soon after our arrival, Peter found a job and we rented, for $25 a week, a large 4-bedroom first-floor flat in Musgrave Street, Mossman. Somehow, we summoned up the patience to live in that flat for 2 years, an achievement which made me believe we had the ability to cope with whatever life had in store for us. In 1971, we managed to borrow, from various sources, $17,500. This enabled us to buy an old cottage with a wisteria-covered bull-nosed veranda and a large back garden in North Epping. I will never forget the day we moved in. I knew that Australia was now truly our home. Much has happened since then as our lives took on some twists and turns and we faced a few hurdles along the way. Some we jumped, others we scrambled over, and a couple we put aside. Now, as I sit here in front of our log fire with our 2 terriers at my feet, the aroma of a vegetarian tagine wafts from the kitchen, where Peter has taken on the role of chef for our guests tonight. I look out of the window and see the cows peacefully grazing, and I am grateful beyond words to my parents for endowing me with a sense of adventure which has brought me, in a very roundabout way, to this beautiful valley in which we live. The end.